Witamy wszystkich na 119 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy niedzielę, 14 stycznia 2018 roku. Gospodarzami programu są Maciej, Paweł, Przemek i Marcin. Naszym nauczycielem standardowo jest dr Keshe, a tematyka dzisiejszego spotkania to będzie prezentacja tłumaczenia drugiej części 205 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Tutaj zaczniemy od godziny 30, tak jak mniej więcej skończyliśmy poprzednie tłumaczenie. Będziemy sobie oglądać to gdzieś do 3 godziny, chyba z minutami, nie, do 2:30, potem będzie chwila przerwy, tam pewna część została ominięta i potem od 3 godziny już do końca. Także już powolutku będziemy przechodzić do tematu. Było ustalone, że ja będę to dzielił. Niestety coś tutaj jeszcze technicznie mi nie działa tak, jak powinno, więc Paweł, jeżeli możesz podzielić ekran, jeżeli możesz to puścić od siebie, to byłoby super.
No okej, nie ma problemu. Witam, Paweł z tej strony, więc moi drodzy, zaczynamy.
We die of pneumonia. How we die of lungs being flooded with liquid, because it's our emotion. It's the fields which we have absorbed and we have not converted it to the usage we need, but through the construction and restriction which we have created emotionally, we convert the oceans of the planet, which are created the same, in our own lung. How do you think the water ever came to appear? The physical gravitational magnetic fields of the center of the earth, in the interaction of the inertia of the body of the earth, has dictated the absorption and creation of the liquid, what we call water. So now we understand the gravitational magnetic field of the heart of the man, which carries the emotion of the man in respect to the central gravitational field force of itself on the earth, has created the same ocean in the lung of the man. There is nothing which comes from the physicality with the inner structure of the body of the man. You decide in breathing what type of water, liquid you produce in your lung, then the pad absorbs that energy that it transfers through the blood into the soul of the man and the dimension of his physicality. There is no difference between the creation of the, what we call the oceans, and the liquid in the lung of the man. But we have become an expert in it, we do it faster, and that's why when we go in the lung of the man, we'll see liquid. That jellish thing we call liquid of the lung of the man. This is important for you to understand. Then, as we see how energy is transferred from the body of the man into the lymph, then you understand how the energy is transferred from the orange into the physicality of the existence of the man. This is what we are. This is how we are created, and this is how we can manifest and create ourselves in the dimension of physicality anywhere in the universe. Now you understand why our soul is released when the physicality has nothing to contribute or to hold on to it. And now the soul of the man becomes free, and now it can take its position in any dimension in the universe, and because of his accumulation, it can become a star, the beginning, the creator of life. If your soul, in interaction with the inertial gravitational magnetic field of this planet, led to creation of your physicality and the dimension strength of this planet, so it can do anywhere in the universe now that it's free. Now you understand in one of my teachings what I said. Earth is the nursery of the start of the stars of the universe. We need a nursery to create the soul, that it becomes the seed for the creation of absorption of the correct elements in the universe. This is why you see billions and trillions and beyond imagination of the man stars in the universe. Where do you think it comes from? The soul of the man is sacrosanct. And what sooner the man understands, the sooner man will enter the dimension of universal condition. You remember the sun in interaction with the field of itself create the essence of the creation of gravitational magnetic field of the earth, and that has led to the creation of the life on this planet and the life of the soul of the man in a finer strength. And now when this finer strength gathers together and become a soul of the man and establishes the physicality of the man, so the same can be done anywhere in the universe. This is why when the time of the physical dimension finishes, the soul of the man takes a new position. Because now it's free. It has matured for itself to become part of the totality. The beauty with this is that we do not understand. And now we have to understand. We have to evolve to the next level. We have no choice. Now we understand the purpose of our creation. A single speck of dust on its own does not make a planet. It has to be a collection of these that it leads to creation of the seed or a planet. So is the soul of the man. This is what we got to understand, and this is the part of the further development in understanding of the totality. The sooner we go through these processes, the sooner then we decide if we would like to live the life of the man of universe. Because this is us who creates us according to the condition of the energy of the environment which we feel happy to manifest ourselves. This is what is for us to confirm our own existence. This is what we need to understand. This is what has been denied to us. This is what we have to evolve into. This is what we have to comprehend. This is what changes the teaching from now on. Because now it's not teaching anymore. It's understanding oneself's operation. We still, as I said before, we carry on with making the cores and making the medical systems and the food systems. But those of you who have gone through the process of the evolution of comprehension of the totality will suffer a lot. Because it's a dimension, it's a transition. And you see the physical side, and now you have to live with the dimension of non-physicality, in a dimension which you want to manifest yourself in. It's going to be a process of conversion. It's going to be a process of us understanding the totality of ourselves. It's the process that all the teachings which we've done with up to now with different part of the educational, experimental, come together. As I said recently, this is the graduation time. Many, many world leaders will rise against the Keshe Foundation because they see their position in danger. Because now they have no position to control. Food, water, financial, economical forces have been used as a point of control. Fallacies on the name of religions, different type and sect, but all the same, has been used to, in a way, slave the soul of the man. Now the only person who decides my soul is going to be enslaved to others is me, myself. Thou shalt not rape means you cannot rape, steal from your own soul. It's not for the others. You cannot deny your own existence to confirm another to be better than you. You confirm your existence as the soul of a lover to give, that the others through your own process elevate themselves to elevate the others. It's a brick wall. And a man has to be the giver, to be always the bottom brick, that the others can be put on higher, that in totality reaches the highest to see on the top the beauty of the further distance. The understanding of the totality is the essence, is the key to all this teaching, and not creating another dimension of mysteries and magic. Listen to these teachings of today. This is the process of starting for you to become independent of the earth planet, to become independent of any position in the universe. Because what do you do in another position when there is no need for the long, but still the transfer of the energy of the environment is needed for the survival of the man, or the confirmation of the existence of the soul of the man. Teachings from now on are very much targeted into understanding the position of the man and how to survive in a space. As we evolve, we understand more. As we teach, we understand more. As we understand more, we teach more. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And I'll remind the attendees they can put their hands up if they'd like to ask a question. We do have several questions. Jan is asking in the live stream, when the man dies and the soul leaves the physicality, can the soul take any position in the universe, or is there a judge who decides the new position? In other words, is there a hell or heaven? Or does the Creator decide the new position of the soul of the dead man?
I think you better go and read the 24 commandments. You get your answer. There is no one to judge, and there is no heaven and hell, because if you have not done wrong, there should be no fear of hell. On the other hand, the position of the soul is created by gravitational magnetic field strength, which is created by the soul during the time of its existence. If you look and go back and look at the teachings and where Rick shows magnets on the table, each soul in its freedom for its physicality will find its position in balance, and where it can be in the universe is not predetermined. This is what we say, thou shalt not create any or do any crimes, that in doing wrong, you use a lot of energy of your, or fields of your strength to cover it, to do it, and the rest. So you have less to give. So you are positioned as a soul in the fields which are less, which means you become a burden to the other souls to give to you, to elevate you, to reach their level. In a way, the reason we say don't do this, don't do that, or comes in commandments, is that when the soul leaves the body of the man, is of the higher strength, that it doesn't become a burden on the other souls for them to elevate it, as it becomes itself the feeder to elevate others. You don't become a burden, you become a source. The hell is to be a burden, if that's your interpretation. And then you understand, in my teaching I'll say, it'll come to the point that man will do nothing but to giving, because the brighter the light, the more it can shine and the deeper it can go, that it can reach more. It's not to light up more, it's to give more. In a deeper strength, in a higher strength. This is the fear they put into you, man, by creation of heaven and hell, because hell is the time when you need, you become a burden to receive for the things you put wrong, you did wrong, and you took from the others in the physical dimension, gravitational magnetic field of the soul, of the physicality, that you have to compensate. And then, would you like to have somebody on your backpack and to feed them? Or would you like somebody next to you, that he walks the same with you and he feeds you as you feed them? It's a lot to learn. Go through the release of the new commandments. Put them in the context and understanding of all the 24, and you will find the path. Listen to the teaching. I emphasize, there is a lot, now we can go back to it, in the medical teaching which was done the first 33. In understanding the transformation of energy with the emotion of the physicality of the different organs of the body of the man. And then understand it and bring it forward to the present understanding, then you will see how we can live independent of any physical damage. My enemies are many, but the fear of my existence puts a fear of life into them. because of what they might steal that they cannot complete their cycle. My biggest enemy is me, not anyone else. Because I do not understand, do not want to understand the true process of existence. So I rape, I steal, I do everything else to my own soul and nobody else's. And then I'll tell other people to judge me, where I have to be the judge of my own conduct. That if I don't do wrong, I don't need to appear in front of a judge to be judged. If you don't do a crime, if you don't cross a red light, if you don't hit a man or rob a bank, you don't need to appear in front of a judge, do you? When you don't rob a bank, because robbing it means stealing from the others, when you don't cross a red light because it means you put other people's in life in danger, and you watch your own conduct, there is no need for a court and a judge, is there? Because you have judged your own conduct.
Mr. Keshe, what about Krasmir's question? Is there a way to clean your soul from wrongdoings in the past?
If you know you've done wrong, and what you've done wrong, and you have judged yourself that is wrong, you have already achieved balance. As long as you don't repeat it. This is the key. If you say to clean up the wrong of the past, it means you stood still, you know what you've done wrong. The two ways. What did you do wrong, and what was the consequences of it for the other souls and your own soul? We always look when we do wrong, what we done, that they people have done something and their reaction was whatever. But we don't look at it that what I did wrong, it has created a condition that my own soul had to take a new position which wasn't to be. So we call it a punishment, but in fact it's a new position which my soul is not at comfort. When you're adulterous, when you sleep with another man or a woman behind the back of your husband or your wife, and you know it's wrong, and you can't, you find every excuse to justify it, then the soul of the energy which you were supposed to give to your wife is not there, so she moves in a different position. Then there is the same with the soul which you have made adulterous position with, that moves to a different position. So now your soul has taken a new position, because it's not what it's supposed to be shared equal between the two souls which shared it. And then you find this position is painful, it's not what I want to be. And then you blame it on everything else except looking at where you started the change. And if at that point you realize it's me who's been the cause of this, and I have to correct it, then you have judged it, and if you do it and carry it out the same way, that you might not be able to achieve the satisfaction of the both, but at least near to it, by giving more of what it needs to be, create a new position to be, then you already judge yourself. You have achieved that peace, you have achieved the position you want to be, or you should have been. So when you judge yourself, you don't need no one to judge you, and you don't need, unless you do not see the correction needs to be done. We have created one of the worst things on this planet by killing if somebody killed. This is the worst thing which they was brought in, and is against all the teaching of Christ, bless his name. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. What a rubbish. Those who created these, they're the ones who are going to abuse them. Eye for an eye. If I take eye from you, I give you an eye. I give you enough to see, not for you to take an eye from me. This is how it was put to judge for those who abuse the soul of the man to have control. If I take from you, you're not there to take from me, but it's my job to give from you to replace what I've given, what I've taken. I become your eye. I give you the eye of my soul, that the eye of physicality is not needed. It's the elevation of the soul, not taking another eye. This is how the whole teaching has been misinterpreted to suit those who could put man in fear. Then they could abuse the man, and we've seen the abuse. They say, you confess, you go and confess, they know your weakness, and then they rape you and they do everything else with the children. Where do these souls confess to? To other abusers or to their own soul? In the coming months we see the establishment and the end of Catholic Church through this misconduct. This has been promised, and my promise shall be done. No man needs to confess to no man except to his own soul. With it will come the end of fights between all religions. We have to understand the totality of what we are here for. Not to be judged, and not to do what we've done again and again, and always find a point to justify the same mistake. And then when we suffer, we blame everybody else except ourselves who did it, and we found an excuse to do it. An adulterous behavior, and then you go from one man to another and you justify, because he did that, I did this. So you stole from the condition, and now you have a lower soul. To achieve it, you need to gain energy, and you always suffer more because it's not the level that the soul wanted. The physicality has pushed the soul into that position. The payment, the punishment, as you call it, is that the soul which gives unconditionally has found the filter of stealing from it. And then it does the soul itself to find its position, and puts the physicality in a position to find the mistakes. If mistakes is not corrected, it gives it another one. So you repeat till you learn. And when you learn and you don't put it right, then the soul loses the totality. Then you fall in what I call a free fall of not being able to receive and give. And then you say the relationships run into problem. Because when it's not there, the soul will not commit itself to anything, because it knows the condition is not what it was agreed. When you enter a relationship, you become like two sons, a twin system. One takes from the other one and gives, and it has to be equal. When one takes more and gives less, what happens? What about if when you give more and take less, what happens? What about when it's in balance? We have to become the judge of our own conduct of physicality, and then the soul will always shine. Have no fear of judgment. except yourself judging your own conduct. And don't be afraid, because there are no courts and no judgments in this space. I've seen that in billions of years. Man has conditioned himself to abuse, and those who were clever have used it to abuse them. I explained this to a man of rope, as you call it. They have created this condition of confession. So now the man who has confessed to knows the weaknesses. And now he knows the weaknesses, he abuses it to his own advantage. This is what the Catholic Church has come to. Then because he has the abuses of the mother, which is he confessed to adultery, he abuses the children of the mother. Because if she talks, he talks. So he's captured the wife and the children. Now you understand how, especially we see this in Catholic Church, confession and adultery connections to abuse of children. That's how it's come, most of it. We've been witness to it for centuries. And man does not want to understand. 99% of the children abused by the church in the condition of the home is when the mother or the father has confessed the weakness of the soul, and then has opened the door for other abuses of the children. And the fear of the same. Silence of the parents against the abuse of the man by the child. If you open the door of the abuse, man will be shot. Any other question?
Jan says, thanks for the answer, and is interested in what is the meaning of higher or lower strength in the universal community? Is the soul with higher strength closer to the center and the lower further away?
No, we are all equally positioned. The higher strength means being able to give more. And in giving more, there are more to receive from. I explained this to the position of the Earth Council members. Listen to it in the past couple of weeks, where I explained the Earth Council members are not being gifted, they are being open to have access to a higher strength of their own soul. And when you have a higher, when you have a brighter light, the deeper you can shine. The deeper in depth of the space you can be observed. If you have a candle, you can light a room. When you have a floodlight, you can light up the whole stadium. That's all it is. Do you want to be the candle or the light, the floodlight in the stadium? A candle will only reach maybe the paper that I can see, but the floodlight allows hundreds of thousands of people to see. Man should be the floodlight and not the candle. With all the 24 commandments, if you understand it, we make the path for you to become the floodlight and not to become a candle. That's all the purpose of the teaching. To give pleasures for more to see, for more to enjoy, for more to be able to give, for more to come together, that they can share more. I always explain this. I'm a lover of football, many of you know. If I put a candle in the middle of the football team, the football ground, not many people can see. But If I put a floodlight on the same ground, many people will come and they share the love and experience and the joy of the game, and with it, each other. Man should be the floodlight and not the candle. Where the present way of the religions has made sure the man stands a candle, that they can abuse it, and they can blow it out and play with it where they want. Any other question?
Well, Mark Erb asks, does the soul need to bring the energy of the physicality into itself before moving off into space?
It's not the energy of physicality, it's the energy of the soul of the man, which leads to the creation of physicality. Look at the higher level, not the lower. Then you get enlightened. Now you understand how beautifully all the teachings come together. Now you can understand and use your own physicality to absorb energy without taking and killing. And then you decide how much of this energy from your environment you give to your soul, that it can give more. You take from the physical dimension, field strength, and you convert it to the energy of the universe. In a way, the body of the man, if you understand, the heart of the man, the breathing of the man, the physical dimension of the man is conversion of the lower strength matter state into higher strength, which is the soul of the man. Where, as we said, in the spaceship structure, the three bases are gravitational, they pull everything in to feed the top. It's not that the top is weaker. The top is weaker in taking, because it's such a giver in giving. The understanding has to be complete. When you are a taker, you're gravitational, you bring everything in. When you're a giver, it means you don't need much to take. You give so much that the others can exist through your giving. When we look at the structure of the hydrogen in the amino acid, hydrogen is a giver because it doesn't have such a gravitational magnetic field strength in the center of it. It has only one electron and one proton and one neutron if it's deuterium. But the others, because of the number of the plasmas in the center, they're heavy. They need to get fed, so in feeding they absorb more. And then in that process, they have to release that in coordination with each other. The one which is not dead, but is weaker in the strength of the gravitational, they feed into it. But as a giver, it gives. If you look, the hydrogen is a lover. We have to understand all the parts of the teachings together now. And then if we understand it and comprehend it and translate it the correct way, then we have achieved what we are here for. It'll take time. Many of you in the coming time will start the process of what I call your soul feeding, your physicality feeding, and then to see how your physicality can feed your soul and your physical body through the breathing and the others that you do not need to kill. You do not need to be worried where my heating bill comes from, because now you can warm yourself through the interaction of the emotion. I like to have the feeling of the snow, Christmas, that I enjoy, because then it means something. It does not matter I'm in South Africa and this is shining and sunny. It's us who has to create the condition of understanding of the soul, of our physicality, and there was no other way than going through the teaching we've done up to now. The gases, the field strength. When I speak about the pad of your lung transferring energy to your blood. If I would have told you this 2 years ago, 4 years ago, this guy's crazy, he doesn't know what's that. But now that you have seen it, you produced the gas, it was enough time for a lot of you to experiment. Now it's easy. Yes, why didn't we see it before? Now we understand it. There is no energy, there's no need for energy to be transferred with oxygen to go across through the lung. And then you see how much fallacies we accepted because of the lack of knowledge. But in a way it's good, because now we know what has been wrong and what is correct. Then no one needs to fast 21 days to become your new guru and a god. You fast 21 days, I fast for 210 days. Then you become 10 times bigger than the guru. Then what is the next trick up his sleeve? Any other question?
There is a question again from Jan. What is the difference between the soul of a man like Mandela and a man like Hitler? Do their souls have the same position?
No. I explained this very clearly in respect. You have to consider 2 or 3 parts of the teaching together. As I said last week, and in my teachings in the past, the man who makes the gun, his soul pays as much as the man who will release the bullet and kills him, or an animal. The same, the one who creates the conditions for elevation of the soul of the man will receive the same. The process, as I said before, whose soul was elevated more, between Diana and John Paul? And I don't think the light of the candle of John Paul's soul even flickers. And maybe, the light of the candle of the soul of Diana is much brighter. John Paul was brought in and placed and knew about all these adulteries, all these child abuses from day one, and he kept silence, and many children suffered. Many people suffered. He was brought in to create the revolution in Eastern Bloc. That was the only reason we saw the Polish Pope, and came with it, opening of new doors and more abuse. We are aware of another revolution of the same, by the same people. That will not happen. I promise you, will not happen. So, which one is worse? Mandela? Or which one gained more? Hitler? That's, you have to answer, not me. You understand enough to be able to answer it. Any other question? Read the commandments as was released and was revealed to Moses. Those which he carved, and those which were carved on his soul by the interaction of the fields between the creator, soul of the creator, and the soul of the man. We need to understand. We need to comprehend the totality. Don't read the commandments on their own, one at a time. Put it together and look at it as a conduct of the soul of the man. Then you can judge it through the physicality if you want to. We will see many, many disasters this year. We will see many, many joyful things this year. And we will see the maturity of the man this year. In a coming cycle, we start a new approach, a new way to look at life. And as I said, once one receives, the others will elevate to receive. I hear from many Keshe Foundation supporters that they have started experiencing different things with their soul, with their brain, with their body. And some of it is joyful, some of it they cannot explain. Some of it is experiment for man to start learning the next step. And some of it will be very harsh because we have to correct a lot of things of the past. We will see, we will understand, we will comprehend the totality when we understand and connect all the commandments together, not one at a time. In so many ways, what I said to Moses was easy. I transferred the emotion of the soul, and that's all you need to do. But he transferred it into the physical tablets, which was not the condition. He was supposed to, the light he received, that he was enlightened, to enlighten the soul of his followers. But he chose the abuse of the physicality. No tablet was ever carved. He did, to abuse. The enlightenment of the soul of the Moses is exactly the way you are getting enlightened. Small pieces but connected, but in his condition was given all to him in one go. If you would have seen him the time when he received, he was a glowing sun. But he chose the path of deception and physicality. He couldn't say, this is what I was said. He had to make something people could see, so he carved what he wanted to carve, not the totality. In a way, if you go down the process, Muhammad bless his name, he did most of it correctly. Even though he made other mistakes on top of it. What in part Moses did not bring, Muhammad tried to bring through the enlightenment, the same light. They saw both the same thing.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, Dr. Ansel.
Okej, moi drodzy, ja tutaj na chwilę może zrobię pauzę w nagrywaniu. Przestanę dzielić i zrobimy.
Mr. Keshe, I understand why Jesus came, because Moses messed up, but why did Muhammad came?
Because the others did not receive the message.
But was it Muhammad's message was more complete than Jesus, or was the same?
More or less the same, and a little bit more. He released more. One of the things which Muhammad bless his name released, that you see now in these commandments, he says, Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad. God is one creator. It's very different than the Ten Commandments.
Mr. Keshe, is it a reason that someone is born in a certain religion, like I was born in Muslim family? Is it a reason for it?
No, it's just that the way the soul, your soul is created out of the dimension of the physicality of the position of the parents. There is no reason why it's born Buddhist or whatever. We are created, and what we are created out of should be equal. In a way, when you look, it's a very, very interesting point. Most of the Keshe Foundation scientists will come to it. You will see it. It's amazing when it comes, because we have such a system in the space, but it's not in the way you see it, but I call it a system. You know, we have these night vision glasses, and we see. There is a vision to see the soul of the man. And then you see different strength souls. The flickering souls and the floodlight souls. How much energy that flickering candle needs to take from the floodlight to show itself in its existence? A lot. And we see the souls that way. So when the man is created, all the souls are the same. It's us through our conduct who decides. It's very, very hard. What happens to the child which is just born and dies? How pure is that soul? Or he had 9 months of pleasure to give and take through the soul of the mother and the others. The time of the departure is irrelevant. The elevation and strength of the soul which counts. Why do we pray? Why do we bless somebody's soul? We give to them more, and they have more to give. Why do we tell our lover, I love you? Because in reflection of the receiving, it tells you I love you too. What she doesn't need, I receive that I need to confirm my existence. Religion is a man-made thing to abuse the man. Does not matter if you're born in Iran, born in New York, or born on Mars or planet Zeus. All the souls have the same attributes. This is what is in the commandment. All souls are equal. Not the soul of the man on planet Zeus is higher than the child born on planet Earth or in Tehran or in. It's us who have been put in that position. Then you understand there is no religion. The religion is one. Believe in the soul oneness and live in the creator, which is the soul of the man. This is very hard for those who are used. The biggest problems opposition will come to the foundation from the religious groups. But on the other hand, if you look at all my teachings, I always respected the prophets when they're correctly conducted. But never the temples, the false temples which was made by the followers for abuse of themselves. You're Iranian, you're aware of the present uprising in Tehran, in Iran. We know the outcome. We know the outcome without the interference of the United States or Israel in affairs of Iran. Because it all has come to an end, all at the same time. What will be the outcome for the Iranians after this, or post-mortem of all this? Let's believe in what they believe, because it was created to be used. The same as Catholic Church, the same as we see in Jerusalem, the same as we see in other places. Everything is coming together perfectly. It's just us we have to do. So it doesn't matter if you're born as a Jew in Jerusalem, or as a Muslim in the city of Qom, or as a, what I call a Christian in Vatican. I said something very recently, very amazing to somebody, and I saw tears. I said, and it'll come. As you know, I've said very recently that the city of Vatican should be returned to Rome. It'll be done so. And then the same story goes as we saw in Church of England in 1980s. In 1980s, when the opening of the Church of England came, and the Church of England decided that we don't have many followers. Not many people go to churches anymore because they've found out we are the tricky guys. They start selling the churches. When the first lot of churches sold in prime position, don't forget, churches always were in a prime position, city center. Centers were made around the churches, because you go to Sunday Mass, you do your shopping, you go home. So, the prime position property value, nobody wants to keep a church. So, those who bought the churches, they start demolishing it to build office blocks, shopping centers, new housing compounds. And what happened? In the first few cycles of the demolishing, they found so many body of the children in the church grounds, in the church buildings. And by law, the companies, the construction companies had to call the police. They started investigating 20, 30, 50 bodies in one church, on the ground of the church. They start asking questions. Then they found out it's the outcome of adulterous behavior between the priests and the nuns and the others. Then the Church of England brought a law. You cannot demolish the property you buy from us. We have to do it with our own workers who already know about the adulterous business of the priests. So if you bought the church, now you couldn't demolish it unless they could demolish themselves to hide their own crimes. Or you had to keep it as a church. As part of our organization, we bought one and we landed with the church. We couldn't do anything with it. Because it was bought to become a shopping center, a building construction. Now we couldn't touch. And we had to be on the waiting list when they have enough people to hide their crimes to could demolish it. Look at the many churches in England, especially centers which are sold because they couldn't demolish it. It's become pubs and cafes, or in a way funny apartment structure. The same will be with Vatican. When the Vatican opens up, when people dig the grounds, you'll find many, many bodies of children. But there was supposed to be no sex. Where did they come? How is the body of the angels? Then the whole thing collapses. The same will go with the other religions, because people will start seeing their own soul through their own conduct. I'm not attacking any religion. I'm just opening the misconduct of the behavior of the man and the consequences of the revelation of the truth. Where did the vow of silence come from? I've explained this many times before. There is nowhere in any holy books that speaks about the vow of silence. We all know, I explained this before where it came in. Vow of silence came, and it only applies to women in the Catholic Church, because of the nuns who were pregnant could not be, how could you be a sister and be a pregnant? So the sister has taken a vow of silence, is kept in hidden till the child is born, and then it comes back out. This is where it came. We don't have a silence in Judaism, we don't have a silence in Protestant, we don't have a silence in Islam. The abuse and the hiding of the lie of abuse has brought, and now it's open. Creates misconduct. The unbalanced conditions when a man is created to create and he's told he cannot do, but still the body for millions of years has been set to do. I decided to become a vegetarian, but my body is used to meat, then I damage myself. It's the same with the body of the man who's produced to reproduce. It says, I made thee to make children that they may love me. How can a man who's made to love, to create a condition to love, to appreciate the presence of the soul which created it, now is allowed, he cannot create. He cannot stop the process. It's still the same love affair. It's still the same love for another. So it creates a false condition of homosexuality, child abuse, and vow silence. All created out of lies, which was in the commandment of the Moses not to be told. We can tear the Catholic Church apart in such an easy way that they will do it to themselves. I promise you one thing, I'll return the stones of Vatican back into Colosseum. Because it's better to abuse the physicality and not the soul of the man is the source of creation of physicality, because then he can stop it. It's the same with all the religions. It's the same, to me, religion is the point of the weakness of the man, who he has created it himself. And he had no choice because he couldn't understand it. When you stand in an island and a hurricane comes, in the past it was a wind, it was bad, you know it takes so many days for it to cross, you sacrifice the Virgin. Now we have satellites, we see it says it's going to be there in that strength, so we already, it doesn't need to sacrifice, we know it's a natural process. Which one was correct? The sacrificing of the Virgin, or now understanding the actual weather forecast? Lack of knowledge created abuse. Now we understand more, why should we? And now, as I said, I take man into a space to be equal to the others in the universe, that he cannot be abused. And the abuse doesn't come that the others will abuse you. It's you who abuse your souls because you go back and believe in everything else. The guy didn't say, I'm the God or the priest. The guy showed you a new revelation, a new way, and because you abuse yourself, you made him God. It's us who creates these images, not images that create us. Now you tell me, is it Mandela? Is it Hitler? Or Diana? Or John Paul? To me, where I stand, John Paul created more crime than Hitler. He didn't touch the children, the fresh soul. He knew and he allowed it to happen. The same with the present Pope. The same with other religions. It's very interesting. Watch what I explained a few weeks ago when President of the United States announced Jerusalem as a new center for them, a new embassy and new capital. Who is the loudest opposition? The Muslims who want to be there, is their holy place, and the Catholic Church who is claiming it's illegal. Why is it illegal? It's your home. You're claiming it. how can they claim it to be theirs and you claim it yours, but they cannot claim to be theirs because you claiming it? Or are we all the same? And have we all cheated humanity? Those who were available to be cheated. Is not the message of the messengers, it's the abuse of the followers, which is the pain. But don't forget, the followers have done exactly what the messenger has done. Cut off the same piece of cloth, because the soul accepts the elevation of the level of the prophet which he accepted. Those of you who follow the teaching of the Keshe Foundation, in time to come you carry the soul of the universe, so there is no abuse. Because you're enlightened to the strength of your own soul and nobody else's. People will understand very soon when we speak. The question is, what is going to be the reaction of humanity? We saw in Austria years ago, over 90% of the people used to go to church. When the child abuses by the church, by the priest, in the church opened up, at the moment they're talking about less than 10% people going to church. They lost their faith in the faith. Soon we'll see the same when the truth and the reality opens up about all the faiths, how they abused it. And how collectively in the background they collaborated to keep the status quo, but they lost. The reason they lost is because I have changed the time. And it's the wishes of my soul, the freedom of the total soul of the man that they can join the, what we call universal community. Within me there is more than all the priests and all the churches and the mosques and the synagogue put together and every other one. Because I am a giver and they are the taker. And in giving, I will change. It's the mistake I made with Moses and the ones before it, not putting it right. And nobody else can do. It was my mistake. I trusted the soul of the man. A weak man. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, I have another question. When we talk
If I
about...
leave your answer, you'll ask questions.
Dobrze, moi drodzy, tutaj jest kolejny kawałek, który pozwoliliśmy sobie nie tłumaczyć, ponieważ tutaj Azar będzie opowiadała swoją historię, powiedzmy, życia, więc w pewnym sensie nie tłumaczyliśmy tego. I kolejny element, który się zaczyna, to jest od 3 godzin, około 3 minut. Czy jakieś są komentarze z waszej strony do tej pory, co udało wam się wyczytać? Jeżeli tak, to zapraszam. Jeżeli ktoś jest na paneliście, proszę podnieść łapkę do góry, wtedy promujemy tę osobę na panelistę, będzie mogła zabrać głos. Jakieś przemyślenia wewnętrzne? Okej, widzę, jedna osoba podniosła rękę. Halo, halo? No to chwilę zajmuje, zanim się przyrzuci na panelistę.
No, witam wszystkich, cześć Paweł.
No, witam.
Ja mam takie pytanie odnośnie tych przykazań, szczególnie tej wersji 24-częściowej. Ponieważ robię w tej chwili taki materiał na temat właśnie oszustw związanych z religiami, to jest to jeden z elementów, który jest dosyć istotny i próbuję znaleźć informację, skąd Mr. Keshe ma te wiadomości dotyczące tego, że Mojżesz dostał w formie przekazu mentalnego od Stwórcy te 24 przykazania, a nie 10, jak potem ogłosił. Czy to gdzieś w którymś momencie padła taka informacja?
Tak. Padła nawet gdzieś w granicach pomiędzy tym ostatnim kawałkiem, czyli to było gdzieś pomiędzy drugą godziną a drugą godziną 26 minut, gdzie z tego, co ja rozumiem, zresztą jest to przetłumaczone, może sobie każdy wrócić do tego, dr Keshe mówi tutaj bardzo wyraźnie o tym, że to on mu dał, czyli że w pewnym sensie manifestacja fizyczności doktora Keshe i duszy fizyczności jest manifestacją kreatora w swojej własnej kreacji. A więc on dał to i wyraźnie powiedział, że popełnił błąd, ufając w słabość człowieka i dając mu to w duszy, gdzie on to przetworzył na fizyczność, bo rozumiał to w fizyczności. Za co też przeprasza w pewnym sensie. Jest to, mówię, jest to przedostatni kawałek, gdzieś jakieś 15-20 minut temu, które...
Tak, ja to słyszałem, ale akurat nie wyłapałem, że to zdanie pochodziło od Stwórcy, z tego wynika, tak?
Doktor Keshe mówi w osobie pierwszej, czyli mówi o sobie.
Aha.
Więc tutaj z tego, jak ja to rozumiem, to wynika z tego, że to on dał. Zresztą on mówi, że on to dał. Nie? Na tej zasadzie. Czy to odpowiada Tobie mniej więcej? Prosiłbym, żebyś sobie, Marku, wrócił do tego. Sobie...
Tak, ja to przeanalizuję jeszcze.
No i wtedy może podzielisz się z nami czymś swoim własnym, jakąś myślą, jak już sobie to przeanalizujesz.
To jeszcze mam jedno pytanie odnośnie duszy i tej kwestii, w której Mr. Keshe mówił, że tam padło pytanie, czy dusza, żeby mogła podróżować w kosmosie, musi wcześniej być ulokowana w jakiejś fizyczności człowieka. A tu mi się wiąże z tym pytanie takie, czy ta fizyczność, ponieważ no wiemy z różnych przekazów i to już wiele razy też było omawiane, że dusza równocześnie funkcjonuje w wielu fizycznościach, tak? Nie tylko człowieka. W związku z tym pytanie moje jest takie, czy jeżeli jakaś dusza nigdy nie była w fizyczności człowieka, czyli nie manifestowała się w fizyczności człowieka, czy taka dusza też w tym układzie podróżuje, czy może podróżować w kosmosie?
Znaczy się, że ja bym nie chciał tutaj występować w jakiejś formie człowieka, który wszystko wie, ponieważ też szukam tej wiedzy, ale z tego, co rozumiem i wnioskuję właśnie na podstawie tych wielu teachingów, w których miałem przyjemność brać udział lub słuchać ich lub jakkolwiek, według mojego zrozumienia w pewnym sensie takie planety, zresztą dr Keshe to mówił kilkukrotnie, takie planety jak Ziemia, w całym układzie, powiedzmy, Unikosu jest ich tylko parę. Są to elementy, w których jak gdyby proces jest odwrotny, czyli poprzez fizyczność są tworzone nasiona dusz, które później dojrzewają poprzez swój własny kondukt i powiedzmy te 24 przekazania lub 24 powiedzmy, ja bym tego nawet nie nazywał przekazaniami, to są 24 po prostu elementy składowe totalności, ja bym to tak nazwał. I te dusze zaczynają ekspandować później w przestrzeń, jak możemy to nazwać. Chociaż musimy też tutaj bardzo dobrze pamiętać, że zjawisko przestrzeni jest tylko zjawiskiem postrzeganym z punktu zwolnionych pól magnetyczno-grawitacyjnych, a więc poprzez fizyczność widzimy przestrzeń, natomiast w niefizyczności nie ma wymiaru, nie ma przestrzeni i te dusze, które tam są stworzone, bo to jest, tak możemy powiedzieć, każdy kij ma dwa końce. Proces tworzenia duszy za pomocą struktury tylko pól, czyli niefizyczności, w niefizyczności struktury tej duszy, powoduje to, że ona jest tak samo równa, jak ta dusza człowieka, która jest stworzona z odwrotnego procesu. I ona może się tutaj manifestować na tym poziomie struktury pól magnetyczno-grawitacyjnych w momencie, kiedy uzna to za stosowne lub wynika to z przepływu pól. A więc podróż odbywa się w dwie strony. To my zaczynamy z naszej strony, która jest jedną, a one zaczynają z innej strony, która jest ich stroną. Czyli mamy i magnetyczne, i grawitacyjne. Tak, najlepiej potrafię odpowiedzieć na to pytanie, więc, ale tutaj myślę, że wielu z nas może mieć swoje jakieś odmienne zrozumienia, do czego też bardzo zachęcam, tak? Bo to jak gdyby tworzy koktajl naszego wspólnego zrozumienia. Odpowiedziało to Tobie, Marku, w jakiś tam sposób?
Tak, natomiast tu jeszcze mi się pojawiło pytanie, ponieważ wróciłeś do kwestii tych 24 przekazanych przykazań, to taką moją uwagę zwróciła kwestia związana z inną wymową czy gramatyką tych przykazań powyżej, powiedzmy, tego 12, a szczególnie to przykazanie 22 troszeczkę mnie zadziwia, bo ono jest takie
Czyli mówisz o oddzieleniu, tak?
Oddzieleniu, właśnie.
Tak, bo to jest... Dr Keshe to bardzo tłumaczy poprzez inercję. Inercję, czyli bezwładność. Ponieważ wszystkie 24, powiedzmy, etapy zrozumienia są elementami konduktu albo konduktu przepływu pól magnetyczno-grawitacyjnych pomiędzy duszą esencji, czyli tą, która znajduje się w głowie, a duszą, która jest stworzona w układzie delta, czyli za pomocą różnych organów, którą nazywamy duszą fizyczności. Teraz te wszystkie przekazania nie odnoszą się w żadnym najmniejszym stopniu do fizyczności, tylko do bezpośrednio przepływu pomiędzy duszami. A więc to oddzielenie nam może dzisiaj się wydawać to jako utrata czegoś lub, nie wiem, stracenie pewnych możliwości do robienia czegoś, ale to jest moim zdaniem tylko i wyłącznie obecny pryzmat jak gdyby naszego zawężonego jak gdyby punktu widzenia, ponieważ innego nie znaliśmy do tej pory. I dla każdego z nas jest to pewien problem, może nie problem, ale stanowi to pewien rodzaj zastanowienia, inspiracji, co zrobić, żeby zrozumieć to, bo przecież nasze dzisiejsze życie tak naprawdę opiera się na posiadaniu, tak? My musimy posiadać cokolwiek, nawet musimy posiadać drugą osobę do kochania, żeby móc dostać to sprzężenie zwrotne tych pól. Jeżeli rozumiemy to oddzielenie, to jest dawanie bez oczekiwania. To jest oddzielenie moim zdaniem, czyli daję bezwarunkowo i nie obchodzi mnie, co dostanę z powrotem, bo i tak balans musi być wyrównany, a więc nie daję, żeby dostać, tylko daję, żeby reszta mogła zrozumieć proces samych siebie, przez co całe środowisko jak gdyby daje tej strukturze, która zapoczątkowała proces. Tak? To jest tak, jakbyśmy mieli, moim zdaniem, pompę, która wypompowuje wodę z wiadra i to leci, powiedzmy, wężem z powrotem do tego samego wiadra. Tak naprawdę nie ma początku, nie ma końca, ale każdy ruch każdej cząsteczki wody w tym całym przepływie powoduje to, że każde inne mogą się przemieścić. Tak? Ja bynajmniej to tak rozumiem, więc ten detachment jest moim zdaniem w odniesieniu do jedzenia, bo to jest całkiem ciekawe, że poruszyłeś to, Marku, teraz. W odniesieniu do jedzenia szczególnie teraz w czwartek, jak już będziemy pokazywać 206, gdzie dr Keshe zagłębił się jeszcze bardziej w elementy zrozumienia niekonsumowania, a więc w pewnym sensie oddzielenia się od procesu pochłaniania innych istot tylko po to, żeby zaspokoić w pewnym sensie naszą ignorancję, bo my tylko jemy przez to, że zignorowaliśmy swój własny przepływ, nie chcieliśmy na niego zwrócić uwagi, a prościej nam jest po prostu wziąć coś w łapkę i włożyć do buzi. Oczywiście nauczenie i wyzwolenie tego procesu na pewno nam zajmie chwilę, ale ten proces oddzielenia, czyli tego disattachment od procesu, powiedzmy, bezwładności pochłaniania struktur innych i wrzucania ich w nasze pole, spowoduje to, że wielu z ludzi, którzy tego dosięgną albo będą bardzo bliscy tego, zaczną bardzo szybko elewować swoje struktury. Ich zrozumienie i oświecenie będzie po prostu tak niesamowicie napędzało całą strukturę i to nie będą tygodnie, to będą zaledwie dni. W momencie, kiedy te osoby się odczepią od tego, co my uznajemy dzisiaj jako powszechne źródło pokarmu i zrozumieją ten proces pomiędzy duszą fizyczności a duszą esencji, zaczną przynosić zupełnie nowe światła zrozumienia. I to jest właśnie też to oddzielenie od fizyczności, bo jesteśmy uzależnieni od fizyczności pokarmu dzisiaj, prawda? W pewien sposób.
Ja rozumiem, że to się łączy z tym przykazaniem poprzednim, czyli 21, czyli nie będziesz posiadał, tak?
No tak, tak. Bo w pewnym sensie zabijając inną strukturę, czy to jest pomidor, czy to jest liść sałaty, czy to jest krwawiąca owca, czy nie wiem, kurczak, my chcemy pozyskać jego ciało po to, żeby tylko i wyłącznie jak gdyby napełnić swoją emocją satysfakcją posiadania. Bo ja zjadłem, to znaczy się, że już nie jestem głodny. A tak naprawdę w gruncie naszego układu pokarmowego żaden element, który jemy, nie przechodzi przez ścianki naszego żołądka, czy powiedzmy jelita grubego, czy cienkiego, tylko same pola. I to zaledwie w 20% jak gdyby tego, co konsumujemy, jest w pewien sposób przetwarzane. Reszta jest po prostu przemielona i wyrzucona. A więc w pewnym sensie, to jest moje spostrzeżenie prywatne, powiedzmy, to tylko i wyłącznie w pewnym sensie nasza chciwość, nazwijmy to, doprowadziła nas do tego, że chcemy jeść, ale teraz wiemy, że ta chciwość nie wynika tylko z nas, bo to nie jest coś, co my kreujemy, że my jesteśmy chciwi. To właśnie wynikało z chciwości między innymi takich ludzi jak Mojżesz, którzy dostali cały alfabet w duszy, a stwierdzili, ja w ogóle, wiecie co, zastanawiam się tak sam w sobie, Mojżesz podczas swojego życia, w stosunku do tego, co tutaj dr Keshe opisał i wytłumaczył. I mnie zastanawia tylko proces, jak ten człowiek musiał się czuć wewnętrznie, mając to wszystko, a robiąc zupełnie na odwrót. Przecież ten człowiek, podejrzewam, każdego dnia, jak się budził, to żył w tak wielkiej niezgodzie ze swoją własną duszą, że dla mnie to jest aż niewyobrażalne. Im bardziej zaczynamy dotykać procesu tych 24, tym bardziej znajdujemy kondukt przepływu. Im bardziej ten kondukt rozumiemy, tym wtedy idziemy kawałek dalej i zaczynamy rozumieć kondukt duszy tej planety. I wtedy zaczynamy zauważać, że za dnia funkcjonujemy w troszeczkę innej sile pól, a w nocy w jeszcze innej strukturze. Ale to będzie w 206. Więc ten kondukt jest czymś niesamowitym, bo to tworzy przepływ i tunelowanie, jak gdyby, po prostu plazmy. Ok, moi drodzy, jeszcze jakieś pytania? Marku, mam nadzieję, że może w jakiś sposób udało nam się coś tutaj osiągnąć.
No ja tu jeszcze chciałem wrócić na chwilę do tego tematu z tym niejedzeniem, o którym wspomniałeś przed chwilą, bo ja rozumiem, że to jest powiązane z tym nie zabijaj, tak? Czyli nie pochłaniaj pokarmu w postaci stałej, ale nie zabijaj. W tym momencie wiąże się też również z przyjmowaniem płynów, tak? No bo wiemy, że w wodzie też są jakieś żyjątka, że woda nie jest całkowicie martwą substancją, w związku z tym też zawiera jakieś żyjątka, czy choćby same aminokwasy. Czy nawet jeżeli chodzi o samo powietrze, tak? Dychanie powietrza, czyli w tym układzie musielibyśmy do tematu podejść holistycznie, czyli przestać jeść, pić i oddychać.
O tak, absolutnie. Tylko no, jak dziecko się rodzi, to nie startuje w maratonie, prawda? Zaczyna od swoich procesów powolnie uczyć się chodzić i w tym elemencie uważam, że w pewnym sensie zaczynamy ten proces. Nie? Czyli tak jak patrzymy na ludzkie ciało, najniższym układem McGrath jest element fizyczności, czyli układ trawienny. Więc od tego procesu możemy zacząć, ponieważ jest on najsłabszej siły pól, a więc w zrozumieniu powinno nam pójść najszybciej. No bo jakby dzisiaj nam ktoś powiedział, dobra, od jutra uczymy się nie oddychać, no to myślę, że wielu z nas by po prostu nie dało rady, by stwierdziło, że to jest jakaś herezja, prawda? Natomiast jeżeli chodzi o niejedzenie, myśmy nawet ostatnio mieli taką dyskusję, gdzie zastanawialiśmy się, czy w ogóle samo nazewnictwo niejedzenia jest poprawne, ponieważ w gruncie rzeczy my ciągle będziemy się dokarmiać, tylko to będzie zmiana źródła tego pożywienia, co też tworzy pewnego rodzaju inne emocje w samym podejściu do tego, powiedzmy, tematu. Ale tak, jak najbardziej. Powoli będziemy się różnych procesów uczyć i podejrzewam, im bardziej będziemy rozumieć, tym bardziej będziemy właśnie disattached, czyli oddzielali się od warunków fizycznych środowiska. I wtedy będziemy mogli manifestować się w środowisku, które jest społecznością wszechświata.
No, bo to powinno się nazywać nie przyjmowanie pokarmów stałych, a nie niejedzenie, tak? Ponieważ układ pokarmowy jest drugim systemem odżywiania. Pierwszym jest skóra, jak wiemy. Skóra jest głównym generatorem, właściwie powinna być w zrozumieniu pól, głównym generatorem zamiany energii w tak zwane pożywienie, tak?
A ja bym tutaj może nie szedł w skóra i układ trawienny, bo to jest to, co my rozpoznajemy na chwilę obecną. Pójdźmy w interakcję pomiędzy duszą esencji a duszą fizyczności. Myślę, że tam znajdziemy o wiele więcej odpowiedzi i pewnych wskazówek, aniżeli szukając tylko rozwiązania gdzieś, powiedzmy, na przestrzeni naszego fizycznego ciała, choć to też może być pomocne. No dobrze, moi drodzy, jeżeli ktoś ma jeszcze jakieś uwagi, to bardzo zapraszam. Jeżeli ktoś by chciał o coś zapytać, to też zapraszam, o ile będziemy w stanie na to odpowiedzieć. A jeżeli nie, to pozwólcie, że wtedy będziemy kontynuować z kolejnymi, nie wiem, 15 czy 20 minutami, które tutaj udało nam się przetłumaczyć i zobaczmy, co możemy z tego wyciągnąć, ok?
Version of it, and he said this is important for you to understand your life, read this, and you know how to go about your life. So I read it sometimes, but I still don't understand, because he says, I said to him sometimes I can read other books, but I'm reading this book. He said, no, this book is going to help you a lot, and I don't understand why.
Thank you very much, Azajan. What is important to all of us is not where and in what condition and environment we are born. It's more or less what we learn and what we expect and what we follow. In many ways, I was born very much like you, not very far from where you were born. And I was born in a house where I saw the conflict of religions. I could see clearly my Jewish family could not eat on the same table as my Islamic family. Were taught the principle of Baha'i faith, and at the end I came not to rebel but I came to see is another path of abuse. And in so many ways, it also decides to what extent you want to go. I sat and I watched many times in my young age, my Muslim uncles and family by accident turning up at a house where my Jewish cousins were, and they washed their dishes 10 times, or their hand or their clothes, because they touched a Jew. I witnessed at the age of 6, 7. When I went to an uncle, a cousin of my family, and I watched them washing the plates so rigorously. I said to my mom, what is she doing? He says, because we are Baha'is, they consider us as dirty, and because I'm a Jewish background, she washes it 7 times. That is clean, not touched by a Jew. As you know, in Islamic religion, they call it 6 bajab, which is about 6 length of the hand, finger, what do you call it, small finger to the thumb. And they consider it to be washed. And I never understood how come, if my mom's a Jew and they invite us, or a Jewish background, she's Kohen, why do they invite us and then they go through all this rigorous washing and cleaning? Don't invite us, then don't do all this stupid thing. And my father used to say, it's for them to mature. It doesn't mean because she's my cousin I cannot love her or be here because of our childhood. But it's, I love your mom, and she comes from a Jewish background, and it's for love of both, I take the both. And I watched this many times. I became aware of the conflict in religion at a very young age, very young age. And then I saw more abuse. I watched many, many times mullahs who came and took their frock off and they became normal people because they didn't want to become mullahs. They didn't want to teach because they couldn't see the light. I witnessed many times in my parents' house, mullahs with their families come from different cities and they take their frocks off and they walk out as normal men after staying in the house for a few days. And then they could find a job or they could be placed somewhere. And I realized man of faith is the soul of the man, not the man himself. I asked my father, why do we see these mullahs coming and changing clothes? He says, they don't even know why they exist in that frock. And then we saw the change in the revolution. Many people just put the frock on because it was a path to learn or earn what they wanted to do. I have respect for all the religions because at the end of the day, I want the religions to be what it became later on. But it's us to understand. I married a Catholic and I watched the same abuse. And then it became more and more with Caroline that the fallacy of the abuse has different names. Very much the only way I can consider it or I explain it to a lot of people, I call one faith as a sexual abuse, one faith as a physical abuse, and one faith as a what I call a psychological abuse. And all the religions have found a way of abuse of the man, the soul of the man in the dimension of physicality. And the sooner we open our eyes, we'll see behind all of them. They're all one. And that was the first message given to Moses. There's only one creator. And very soon we'll see they come together, it'll be the end. The peace on this planet has started. Because it's our wish. But we got to realize something, that the strength of wanting to be peaceful is much stronger than those who want to be the intermediary between the soul of the man and the physical life of the man which wants to be peaceful. And these will be turned over. In the coming time, you will see, as I said very recently, what are we going to do with all these temples? What are we going to do with all these properties, the churches, the mosques, and the synagogues only? Don't forget, none of them pay any taxes, so it's a net profit. They bought as much land as they could, and they were given to the fear of getting better position in heaven by those who are weak in character. What are we going to do with all these properties which becomes available? Are we going to make nation by nation decision? Or are we going to make a decision as one nation? What are we going to do with all these properties which has been collected by the abuse of the man in the name of the religions? In one calculation, there is an estimate, runs into percentage of the total assets of the world is held by those who use the name of the faith and abused it over centuries. So what we see is a collective abuse of our grandparents and great-grandparents and parents and their parents and their parents. One thing which the One Nation councils, the Earth Council, Universal Council, have to contemplate on, as part of, as I said, they become part of the Keshe Foundation work, and they are becoming there as we are there to support them to achieve it, is what are we going to do with all these resources, the wealth which has been collected in pennies and cents and whatever by the abuses of the soul of our ancestors? What are we going to do with them? How is it going to be shared for the gold which is taken from Filipino South America and has been bought as shares of the companies in New York or in London? There has to become a consensus. We have to find a solution, total solution, for what I call the financial investment of our ancestors in the dimension of the abuse of the soul of them and ours. The problem is moving. The problem is there and it has to be handled. How are we going to return all the abuse, whatever taken like on a regular basis from Far East, like Philippines and Thailand and the rest, in the name of the church, and buildings which are built in Rome and New York on the name of the Catholic Church or different mosques or the whatever? What about the properties which are given to these organizations and this path of abuse? Then you'll see one thing. There is no alternative but one nation. You'll see no alternative but accepting that we have invested from Philippines in New York and in Rome, and we all have to be benefited by it. It's a very, very interesting challenge. Sorry about that, my little boy is here. Every time we talk straight and correct, he has something to say. The reality is, there is a number of positions which are coming up that we have to understand. These are the dilemmas which are rising very, very fast. Palestinians and Jews are of the same blood. They came from the same blood. Christians and the Jews are of the same blood. So, how can we find all these to be corrected? A lot of people would oppose a lot of end of the faith the way we see it, because they're afraid of the abuses which will going to open up, which has been done in the past. The only solution is left to forgive. We have no other choice, because it's not one abusing the other. We all have abused everybody at the same time and together, and one way or another we refer it to the other one not to show us. This is what it comes to as one nation. To become one nation, we need to close our eyes to a lot of the wrongdoings of ourselves and our forefathers, and a lot of abuses which is done in the name of the Creator by those who could see us weak. I attended Fabio's funeral and I attended his memorial. And Carol and I, we sat and watched, and we literally were gobsmacked. We were absolutely shocked how the soul of the boy, such a beautiful soul, had time limit. The priest had 1 hour, exactly 1 hour he closed the session. Was the soul of this boy so worthless? Or was it higher than the priest? Or has it become a business? And it's all business, how we can rob in the name of God, which at the end of it is us. The change into one nation, one planet, which will take shape in different ways this year and the coming time, will force us to face these. We have to change these, and the only alternative left is somewhere a compromise that we were stupid enough to let us and abuse our forefathers, but in a way the ones who abused us is part of us. Like Azar came from the Islamic in the most holiest city in Iran. These priests, these mullahs, these rabbis are not born to be. They are the product of the nature of the environment we have created. So, becoming one nation is not just teaching the soul the understanding of how to exist, is to understand how much we need to compromise. How much we have to close the doors of the past with the knowledge, not to leave things behind the door, but knowing what's in the inventory of the things behind, and starting to live in a new house. I've been to Vatican, and I've felt the pain. The funniest thing is, all these so-called religious people are fully aware of what they're abusing. The only thing is, they don't want to admit the level of abuse. As a priest said to me once, I'm not a child molester, I don't abuse children. And I said to him, but you abuse the soul of the man. It's the same rape. The position with us, with change of new technology and bringing up the new one nation, one planet, we have to do a lot of work. And have a lot of strength to see the time has come for change to the conduct of the soul of the man, not the physicality. I watch many revolutions, many things are happening at this moment around the world. And I watch how it's changed compared to the past. And I watch how much man's maturity is leading to it. We're becoming mature, we're becoming more aware of. But now in the physical awareness has to become to awareness of the soul of the man, and then opening of the universal community into man. Would man mature in a night, or would man mature in another 1,000 years? Would those who mature have to wait for totality, or we become part of that totality, become matured faster? All of it, it depends on us as a human race. I taught you today how to feed yourself. For those of you, I know many of you will start doing it and see. Start with one taste, one vision, one understanding, and then when you achieved it, the next one. Start understanding the operation of your soul, the operation of your physicality in respect to the soul, and operate through the soul of physicality, which is the heart and the lung, to give to the soul of the humanity or your own body, that by giving it creates new position. In a way, from now on, when you eat, it's not just an orange or a potato. It'll be the soul elevation of what I can give to the soul of myself. Using the soul of physicality to convert it into the soul elevation of your own soul. And then you understand. This is the purpose of teaching you about star formation and maggraph systems. This is the reason I teach this way, because the common man can understand. Some of you got touched by having a free energy system. Even I gave you the free energy system, you don't see it. You look for a medical application, I gave you the system. All of you, every man who's ever heard or followed the teaching of the Keshe Foundation, you all can live without any pain for the rest of your life. Or any diseases. But understand the essence of the teaching. Work through your soul. And not through the physicality to touch the soul of the physicality. Or at least learn to start with, to work through the soul of the physicality to change the physical condition. As a man, we suffer. It's a part of physicality because of the interaction of the filters so much. When you walk through your own home, your body continuously has to interact with every field, the chair, the table, every cell on the carpet, every cell on the spoon, the fridge and everything else. It's a continuous battle living in an inertial environment. But in deep space, when in space, it's not so much a battle. That's why your cells don't need an innovation. That's why you last and live longer. This is the problem with living with the enforced environment. In the space we have all still the same fields, but it's open to what we want to take. It's not encaged, and it's not encaged. When you're encaged, you have to give and take. Look at your aura. You see all sorts of colors. These colors come because not coming out of your body, because the chair wants this one, the bed wants another one, the fridge wants something else, and depends where the fridge and the freezers are, then your aura is different because of what they pull on you. And the one who wants to abuse it, they say, oh, this is something wrong with your kidney there and something wrong with your liver. But did you take the same picture where the fridge and the freezer was behind me, what I was giving, what I was taking? We have to start opening our eyes in a bigger dimension, in the totality, and then we start seeing. Then we become in charge of our own physical dimension. Then we can travel the span of the universe. I promise you, I didn't come here with a spaceship. I came through the soul of the man. Nobody landed, no one, but we traveled the space of the universe through the expansion and the need of the soul of the man, or any being. Try to understand the teachings from now on in depth, not just by words. Teachings from now on becomes very intensive, but it's what is needed to go through the evolution of the change to be able to travel the spans of the universe. We still make the Ganses, and we still make the spaceships, and we still do everything else. But if you are a real entity of being, entity of the universal community, I have given you all the knowledge. It's your choice. Would you like a donkey? Or would you like to be in the jumbo jet? Or now, if you want to travel in the spaceship, or in the spaceship of the soul of the man. According to your intelligence, you choose. But at least this time, you can't be abused. We call it a day, it's nearly 3.5 hours. And try to come and to understand more about totality, the soul, the physicality, the operation of the systems, and knowledge of the creation in all of the teachings in the past time. 2018 is time of maturity of the man. And we have started it. It's for you to expand your horizon, not for us to push you. Because if I push you, This is what it is. We create another temple. If it's done by you, you decide when and how and what you want to take from it. Thank you very much for today. And hopefully we meet on 2206 teaching next week and further on. But be ready for a change and be ready to see a lot of changes on the international scene, because we have wished for it, and because of it, we will achieve it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, I think by next week we can present the Constitution in Farsi.
You're quite welcome. We asked you.
Yes, I mean, Dr. Paris and I will be working on it. I think by next week it should be ready.
You're quite welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe, once again, of course. And thank you to all our listeners and people participating in the workshop. And this is the 205th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, January 4th, 2018. And we'll end the live stream and our Zoom meeting for today. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Okej, moi drodzy, więc tutaj to jest powiedzmy cały 205, bez powiedzmy dwóch kawałków, w którym był wstęp Stanleya odnośnie stronki, na którą też Was wszystkich jak najbardziej zapraszam, cashfoundation.org, gdzie możecie sobie ściągnąć konstytucję, która jest po polsku przetłumaczona. Jest także element przykazań, o ile się nie mylę, po polsku, który też można sobie ściągnąć, bardzo zapraszam. Do tego ten filmik będzie w odniesieniu do napisów na KF SSI Polska, kanale YouTube'owym, gdzie będziecie mogli sobie to obejrzeć. Zachęcam do ściągnięcia też pliku z napisami i odsłuchiwania sobie tego w możliwym czasie, w możliwych warunkach na urządzeniach mobilnych poprzez różnego rodzaju aplikacje. Jeżeli ktoś ma problemy, dajcie nam znać, to pokierujemy, co w naszym zdaniem jest najlepsze do tego, aby to odtwarzać na telefonach, bo jak sami widzicie, wiedza jest gęsta, jest jej bardzo dużo i jest ona bardzo praktyczna w wymiarze fizycznym. A nie muszę Wam obiecywać, ponieważ myśmy już go widzieli, ci co są anglojęzyczni, 206 jest dopełnieniem głębi tego, co zostało tutaj jak gdyby poruszone. Moi drodzy, czy są jakieś pytania, czy są jakieś sugestie lub cokolwiek z Waszej strony, czym chcielibyście się podzielić? Jeżeli nie ma, to powiedzmy organizacyjnie chciałbym tylko jeszcze dodać, że ewentualnie jeżeli ktoś miałby ochotę pomóc nam w tłumaczeniach lub korektach, skontaktujcie się z nami, też każda pomoc jest mile widziana, ponieważ przyspiesza to proces dzielenia się wiedzą, a w nawiązaniu do tego, co było mówione przez doktora Keshe, 2018 jest rokiem, w którym będziemy widzieli dużo różnych rzeczy na przestrzeni tego, co wydaje nam się pozytywne, jak i nie do końca, gdzie podejrzewam coraz więcej ludzi będzie miało chęć i możliwość albo powiedzmy ochotę zwrócenia uwagi na wiedzę, która dotychczas nie bardzo ich interesowała. No i te tłumaczenia na wielu albo dla wielu będą podstawową strukturą do rozpoczęcia nowej przygody, jak i oczywiście dzielenie się wiedzy, tak jak wszyscy prawdopodobnie to już teraz pięknie robicie, na przestrzeni swojego środowiska, aby po prostu zwiększyć ten przepływ, prawda? Także moi drodzy, ja Wam ślicznie dziękuję za dzisiejsze spotkanie. Widzimy się w czwartek o godzinie 21 czasu polskiego, gdzie już zaczniemy z nowym elementem 206. No i tam, moi drodzy, będzie naprawdę ciekawie. Dużo wiedzy, podejrzewam, że nie starczy nam chyba 2 teachingów na to, czyli 2 spotkań na to, żeby omówić to, ponieważ jest tam bardzo dużo praktycznej wiedzy, którą z mojej wiedzy wielu z Was już dotknęło, już jest w tej pozycji. Teraz musimy wnieść wszyscy chyba troszeczkę poprawek do zrozumienia, żeby uzyskać ten przepływ. Dziękuję Wam bardzo, moi drodzy, pozdrawiam i życzę miłego tygodnia. Do zobaczenia w czwartek.